Okay, my daily report card. I've got about 3 hours of sleep last night. I am fairly tired right now, and I probably should not have traded at all today. Was able to pull money out of the market though, and didn't trade that much. There wasn't that much to do overall. I took DWAC short here. So as it started to pull back, I was looking at the volume here. So you had a new 252 bar volume high, followed by nothing. So if we looked on the 1 minute, let's rewind the clock on that. Let's go back here. So if we're looking at a 1 minute chart, you shot up here with massive volume. And at that point, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe everyone that's in, that wanted to get in is in, because you're pulling right back like there's nothing at all. Dried up, died on the vine. There's no volume to follow through with it. So I took it short. It came up and almost stopped me out. And then it did this and bounced. And but I was looking at some. I erased everything that I had on the chart. I think it's kind of trailing it there. But then I was looking at it coming back to VWAP, and that's where I got out of the final piece. And then I should have flipped long, because from there it ended up working out pretty well, breaking out here. So it came up, formed a nice little flag. So let's see. Yeah, it came up to VWAP. Let me go back to that. All right, so you have a swing low there, came up, found support in between these two anchored VWAPs, and then got really nice and tight, and that's exactly what you want to see. So you could have a buy order right above this line here, and that would have taken you into the move for a nice gain of, if this can work. So that was a nice 10% gain right there. So if you're a day trader and scalping those on a 1 minute. Now the spread was high on that. Maybe it didn't get filled. It's very possible. But there was nothing today that was like, there were no halts, nothing major. I mean, Roma halted. I think that was the halt in the morning. And then look at what that did after that halt. Straight down. Right, so I'm guessing they dumped a lot of shares in the market, 75%. So then NVIDIA was the other thing I was looking at. I traded this in another account that I have, which is why it's so marked up. But you have this red line, this red anchor VWAP, which was acting as resistance. But then it basically went sideways, a nice wedge here. And so one of the things you look at is this, if A, B, C, it's an ABC move. So your A move here took you above this anchor VWAP. Then you pull back, and you only pull back, I think it was only like a 0.38 pullback. So that's pretty valid as an ABC setup. And then this move here, if you take it from, let's hide those things. So if you take it from the bottom there, that's about a 2%, 2.25%. And then from the bottom here, this leg is roughly, it's not quite as much. But they're fairly, if you give rid of that wick, it's kind of similar. So that was just a nice A, B, C move. And the way that I was playing this was, I thought, okay, maybe we'll fail here. I took a smaller short position, had a stop loss. I had to head into a meeting. I think I lost like $120 maybe, $103 on that. And then here's where I saw it coming back to this anchored VWAP, this yellow line, which was this from the bottom of, that's from the bottom tick there. So that came back, and I almost took it long here, and I hesitated, and I was doing a couple other things, and I stepped in front of the laptop, and I saw this action here. So I figured it was topping out. It's going to be a lower high here, and that's where I had a short entry, and I scaled out put in for me, which is very massive size, knowing that I'm going to be scaling out of most of it pretty quickly, which I did. And then I just wanted to hold a piece overnight, so I'm holding a smaller position there left over. And then I tried BFRG. It was very choppy. Like I said, it's just not, on a day like in December, I was trading, I had a lot of small caps in here. And I'll get to the IWM in a second, but you can see it's gapped lower today. So bought, I wasn't expecting anything out of there. Actually, it's probably, if you're looking at a 1 minute chart, wasn't the best buy. But that's where you had a nice little move there. You had a pop, and then it came back So all these lines were resistance, which became support. Then it came back, tested that support, and you had a nice little pop there. But again, this was, the bid-ask spread is probably a little bit wide. Not the best one to trade. There's my smaller NVIDIA loss. And then position-wise, I have NVIDIA as a short, which I don't know. Maybe that's dumb. Who knows? And Mara. I'm sorry. Mara is my. I still have the last 100. Was that 100 shares? Yeah, 100 shares left out of an original 2,000 that I've been scaling out of. So I'm giving this some room here, at least for now. And that broke below this yellow line. I'm looking to see if it can come down to this white line is where I have a buy stop to cover, and then my stop loss is up here. NVIDIA, let's hide that once again. So I have a stop. Okay, can this work a little better? There we go. So my stop, I could really now at this point, I'm just going to move it to break even, or maybe slightly above break even here. Cover commission costs. So, yeah, I mean, what I liked about this entry, right, is I have this high here, right, and also what I'm looking at is, what else was I looking at? Because he had this anchored VWAP here. I was thinking that it popped up here, it was going to come back lower, and probably come back down to this yellow line. So knowing that with going in with size, like I'm going to be out way before then. But also knowing like, okay, this just shot up here. The market's weak. This is on the bear combo scan. I could put a stop right there. So I mean, even like right here. So it's such a tight stop that, and then the potential reward is like a lot greater than the stop. So did I have to do that much size? Probably not. Probably wasn't smart to do that much size. But anyway, it worked out. Shot, I was looking at that today. The daily looks, it's kind of like almost a little bottom bounce. You would want to see this close at the highs, but it just didn't have the volume on the intraday. I mean, dollar volume 1.1 million. Okay, on that 15-minute. That's for trading something like this. I want it to be. Let's see, BFRG. What kind of dollar volume did that trade? You see, 204 million, 203 million versus $16 million volume. So it's a massive difference in dollar volume. Just felt like if you look at the daily, the volume is really low. Like, you want to be trading this when the volume's higher. It's making highs. But I don't know. I mean, it's something that I looked at it. I did look at it today. I just didn't take it. Maybe I could have taken a smaller position because I was looking at it right in here, and that would have been a nice move there, 15%. RVSN, that was on the scanner this morning. Nothing really came of that. And the rest of these, so this scan here that I have is my bull A, and that's basically looking at the ADR on the stock. It has to be above, I believe I have it set as a 4. And then the percent change has to be above 4. So it's breaking out above, theoretically. Man, if the ADR is like a 7 and it's only up 4%, well, then it's not really working. So I'm looking for stuff that is breaking out of an ADR, out of its daily range. So going through this scan, Zim's got a little choppy here. They have that catalyst with the war, and shipping prices might change, whatever. EP scan. Now I have attached to this, so this is basically just things that are up 7%, ADR greater than $4 volume, and then the 50 moving average on the daily, it's above the 50, and it's moving up at least a little bit. So it's in an uptrend, theoretically speaking. Let's see. Didn't really see much on here today either. RSI, that's really choppy. A lot of these are just more or less day trading stocks. And I don't know if there was any news on some of these. Basically what I'm looking at is if there's something that really looks good on a chart, then I'll go and look at the news. I also do kind of scan through the news as well. But overall, not seeing too much out there. FLX, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, now it's extended, but just home furnishing, see it's a small float, market cap 123, so that shot up 37%. GCT is still moving. So look at that one. You had a leg here, which was about 1150-ish. Now this leg has been about 18. Yeah, I don't know. What's the float on this thing? Let's look at the weekly again. So you had some selling here. So shooter bars, basically, it went up and it sold a lot of volume. So everyone said, you want to go high? You can have it. Basically, that's what they said. Hey, you want it? You can have it. So it's above, but it's above that anchor VWAP from that week. Let's look at it from here. It's curling up. I mean, that one looks all right. This whole list, that's probably the best looking one, but it's technically extended from a proper buy point per IBD, I'm sure they would say. That's that scan. What else I have? This flag scan. Honestly, I don't really know what. I've had this one for a while, and I got it from somebody else. I can't remember who, but I still go through it. I honestly don't look at it that much. I mean, for intraday trading, I'm looking at basically like this scan here, my micro scan, and then I'll go through and flag stuff, and then I have a flag scan that I run. So I have this set up, and that's where I found NVIDIA here. It really wasn't a good day. I mean, I really shouldn't have been trading NVIDIA. There wasn't. I mean, yesterday was a good day to get in long on that. But these are a lot of the same scans. It's just kind of spread out a little bit, so I can see everything at once. But it's a lot of duplication. It's basically the same thing over and over again. So then I also go through Stock Fetcher, which I like that as well. I like to see stuff that's in a Darvis box that might be getting towards the upper end of that Darvis box, like AMD was. Go back to this one here. So AMD was in this box here, broke out on volume, big volume there. Dollar volume, $17.9 billion, crazy. We had NVIDIA, right? So that was in a box for the longest time, which broke out of here. But you've also had stuff breaking down. But looking at the Qs, let's look at the indexes to wrap this up. It's just again, let's show this again. Let me clear this up. So that was a pre-market low, pre-market high that I marked out. Did not trade the Qs, just still like to look at that. Let me get rid of this. Anchor VWAP. So what do you got on the Qs? You're still holding above this swing low. You came in with some volume today, but it's holding up. Okay. It's just in this box. I think if it gets above here, you can see if this breaks out on volume, I mean, you could take this and hold it as a swing. Now, I wouldn't trade the Qs, maybe TQQQ. But it is in a box. And SPY, maybe not as strong. Tech is stronger. So IWM, that found support here at a rising 50. Could be a good thing. Could be a great thing. Maybe start by getting above this high here. So what I would want to see, let's look at some anchor VWAP action. Yeah, so you'd want to see that, and T2108. Let's look at what that's looking like. Okay, so that seems to be heading down, at least at the moment. So that's it. That's all I got for today to wrap this up.